see things, listen to this, we see things as we are. So remember what I just said to you about it's based on that person's perception of reality, right. how they receive you. Mm-hmm. So people get mad at you. So people will get mad at you and how you're functioning and talking to them as a man or a woman or whatever, and it's all based on whatever experience they've had
or traumas they had.
Absolutely, good and bad.
Good and bad.
Because we are the sum total of our experiences.
Right. Okay.
And that's where people usually mess this thing up at, is we start trying to be more at a particular point in time in our life than we're ready to be.
We're ready for. Okay. So it goes back to, I'm responsible for what I say, not for what you hear. So your interpretation,
absolutely. So
it determines what your response is.
Right. And that's so key that we don't take on other people's issues and start thinking it's us. That's how we start messing up our own lives, because we'll start questioning who we are based on somebody's perception of us, based on how they heard what we said. And then you start walking around here trying to change yourself and stop trying. And you start questioning your manhood
because they saying he made me feel
That's
like this,
right.
and she made me feel like that.
Yeah.
So it's already prejudged by the time you get to somebody else.
Absolutely.
So they interpreting your conversation off of what that person said.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so think about this, and that even works for us as well when we go into another relationship with anybody. We will start dealing with people based on our past
what
experiences.
Felt about us.
And so we'll start thinking, so we'll start adjusting in ways we shouldn't even be adjusting. In new relationships.
Which is the baggage.
Right. That dirty, you just said it, man. Hey, look, you just said it. The baggage. What is that song Erykah Badu sing? What is it called?
Bag Lady or something.
Bag. Right. And she said, what is it? You go, all them bags or something she talks about. Right. And that's exactly what I have found that I have done as a husband, as a father, as an ex-husband, as a stepfather, is I have brought Man, I'm packing everything.
So how do you learn how to release it?
Oh boy, I'm getting ready to say, because I was getting ready to say to you. So here's the key. I had to sit down and do honest self-reflection and self-actualization and say, okay, Steve, you packing this stuff around, not them. So now you're going to have to be intentional to step back, step back from everything you're doing. Unpack the bags, so now that you can really travel the journey.
Gotta lighten the load.
Gotta lighten the load, baby. I don't care how strong you think you are.
So with them bags, it makes you even approach situations.
Everything, brother. Everything. We approach everything. We approach everything different based on the baggage we pack in.
That is not freedom. That's a slave. That's slavery in the mind. You a slave to the bags you carry.
To disappointment, to anxiety, to when somebody bullied you and called you fat when you was a kid, or you big-eyed, frog-eyed, you fat, no good, you light-skinned, wanna be.
You believe that narrative. You believe it.
Because they're seeds.
They're seeds. They plant in your subconscious.
In your subconscious.
And you let it grow.
That's right.
Now it's a whole forest.
That's why it's so important to be intentional in saying, I'm unpacking the bags. I'm going to deal with the trauma. And I'm saying that because men, we have to decide that we're going to deal with the trauma of our childhood if, in fact, we want to be real men. When I say real men, D, I'm talking about that husband worth respecting, that father worth imitating.
Right.
That leader worth following. In order for you to get to that place, you gotta sit down and unpack the bags
Now, when do you? I mean, we're able to be aware now and assess our situations now at this age and this stage. Where does a boy at 18, 17, 21, like?
Let me tell you something. That's a great question.
How do they do that?
Let me tell you something. And the only way I can say that is that's what makes the Making of Men program needing to be infused into public education across this country is because we have to teach them how to do it. That's why it's so hard for us as men. Nobody taught it to us. Remember, most brothers, most black boys was raised by a single woman. So there was never that man that showed us how to release the bags. Hey, look, I didn't have a father to teach me how to fail. Because one thing that I've learned as a father that's as important as anything is how do I teach my son how to fail, to help him understand you don't become great, you don't reach success until you've lost. Because it's the loss that builds the champion.
Right. When they ask who fails more, winners or losers, it's really the winners because they try more.
They try more. Okay. You heard me? And so what I've had to, so what we have to.
So when you're being clear, to fail, when you say teach them how to fail, just elaborate on that.
So we teach them not to let the things that people say is failure stop them.
Okay.
You heard me? So when they come up against a barrier that seems too big for them to climb over, we start instilling in them what is called grit. They look at that obstacle and instead of running from it, they say, "Ooh, I can't wait to climb this wall." Because I know once I climb this wall, I'm going to be what? Stronger and better because I climbed that wall.
Okay. And they got to be willing. What gives them the drive and the effort? How do we instill that into them?
And that's where men like you and I come in.
Okay.
That's the importance of having men in boys' lives, is because we have to show them through our living. It's not what we say that make us great men. Okay. It's what they see us do that makes us
apply.
That's right. I watch my son and even the boys in my programs. I watch their demeanor every day, and I can see more and more of what me and Mr. Thompson and the other men, I start seeing that in them just little bits each day. And that's how I know that we're doing things to transform lives, is because now these young boys, once before when they was hitting those obstacles, they break down, they start smoking weed, they start doing self-destructive behaviors. And a young man said to me something the other day, he texted me and he said, "Mr. Davis, you taught me how to deal with adversity."